Facebook page and website. Next, just to level set on this evening's presentation, what is being presented this evening is at the 10,000 foot level. We're not going to go into specific details about activities as we are continuing our planning efforts. Let me say that again. We're not going into specific details about activities as we are continuing our planning efforts. Tonight's presentation is intended to provide you with a general outline of what is happening with homecoming this year. However, there will be ongoing communications via e-blast and website updates and perhaps snail mail through the United States Postal Service. We will answer questions tonight to the best of our ability based on where we are in the planning efforts. If there are questions that cannot be answered at this time, we will be sure that the answers become available in those future communications, including posting a frequently asked questions list on the Alumni Relations website. We know that there is a mix of excitement and trepidation about the 2021 edition of the greatest homecoming on earth. And it is certainly no surprise considering what we have been through for the last 18 months or so. Please know that we here at the university are cognizant of that and feel the same. But that motivates us to do the best that we can with hosting yet another great edition of the greatest homecoming on earth. Now, without further ado, let's get into the presentation. All right, here we go. So first, let me begin with that the 2021 edition of the greatest homecoming on earth is subject to change based on regulations and guidelines from the governor's office, the University of North Carolina system, and the Centers for Disease Control as it relates to COVID-19. So what you'll hear tonight is subject to change based on what is happening with COVID-19. And the university continues to monitor it day by day. We are at the point, as Russ noted this evening, we are at the point of having an in-person homecoming this year. But again, what you're here this evening is subject to change based on what's happening around the world as it relates to COVID-19. So I just had to start off with that point. Next, let me introduce to you the planned events to date for Homecoming 2021. And let me also note that these are sanctioned events by the university. So what I'm presenting here tonight are the planned events to date that are sanctioned by the university for Homecoming 2021. On the alumni side, we will have the AAF Extravaganza. That is an event that is for our AAF donors. AAF stands for Aggie Athletic Foundation, our athletics booster organization. So that will take place during homecoming. We will have the Aggie Fan Fest this year. And we have our City of Greensboro representative on the line who will speak to that a little bit later. We will have the alumni concert this year. Nope, don't have the artist yet. The contract process is in place, so the announcement about that will be made at a later date. We will have the Chancellor's Donors Reception, and that is an invitation-only event. It has been updated or shared in our monthly Alumni Times that invitation only, the Chancellor's Donors Reception will be for our donors $2,500 and up. So that has been communicated in the Alumni Times since last October. There will be game day tailgating on Lower Street. We will have the golf tournament. And as a matter of fact, I believe the registration process is now open for the golf tournament. SOGA stands for the Society of Golden Aggies. We are planning an event since our annual alumni reunion weekend could not take place this year or last year. So we are working to have some type of event to recognize our golden Aggies from the classes of 1970 and 1971. We are also, along those same lines, planning some type of reunion celebration. Again, since the alumni reunion weekend could not be held this year or last year, we are planning an event for those individuals who were in reunion in the classes that end in 0s, 1s, 5s, and 6s. 0s, 1s, 5s, and 6s. We will have the top of the T Young Alumni Donors Reception, which is also an invitation only event. And one item I did not have noted here is that for those of you who participated in our Aggie Fitness program in the last couple of years, we are planning to do that as well. We are still exploring the best way to do that. And then finally, we are having the Vending Expo that takes place at the Sheraton. More details to come with that. Again, we are still in the planning stages, and more details will come out about all of these events. One thing I want to note also, as we talk through the events, as it relates to COVID-19, we are still taking precautions as far as indoor events are concerned. And what that means is that we will be managing capacity for our indoor events. Again, more details will be forthcoming about that, but I wanted to make that general comment to make you all aware in terms of what's happening, at least with indoor events for homecoming this year. As far as the student activities are concerned, we will have coronation this year, the homecoming jersey giveaway, which is for students, the pep rally, which is typically for students, the concert, the student concert, the step show. We will have the parade this year. The Greek tailgate event will take place, and there will be the gospel concert that would take place as well this year. And oh, by the way, we have a football game against Monmouth University that would take place on Saturday, of course. So those are our planned events for this year. Again, not a lot of details to be shared at this time, but they will be forthcoming. And then, of course, we will share what we can as it relates to where we are in the planning process, as it relates to the questions that you may have later on. All right, so I'll keep that up for a second, just so that everyone can see that again, in terms of the events that we are planning for this year. All right, COVID-19 precautions. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, and please pardon me for that, but that's where we are. Everything that I just announced is subject to change based on where we are with COVID-19, based on regulations and guidelines from the governor's office, North Carolina governor, UNC system, University of North Carolina system, and the Centers for Disease Control, as well as the university leadership as it relates to COVID-19. Additionally, safety is and will remain a priority, as I indicated earlier. Again, pardon me for sounding like a broken record, but we want to make sure that everyone understands that that has been at the core of our planning here at the university for the 2021 edition of the Greatest Homecoming on Earth. Masks and other safety guidelines will be communicated as we get closer to the date. Again, with the situation continuing to be fluid as it is, And the university, our university emergency management personnel are continuing to monitor that activity, as well as what is coming down from all of the different public safety and health agencies as it relates to the COVID-19. So again, as I indicated earlier, with ongoing communications, this is an unusual year, and I know it's kind of unusual that we're having a town hall about homecoming, but we wanted to make sure that you, our Aggies, our supporters, the friends of A&T, understands where we are with homecoming this year, because we are under unusual circumstances. So again, mask and other safety guidelines will be communicated as we get closer to the date. And we will make sure that that information gets out as timely as possible via our social media channels, website, and as well as e-blast and snail mail via our United States Postal Service. We want to make sure that we communicate, that communications reaches all of our Aggies and friends and supporters of North Carolina A&T State University. All right, so here we are at the Q&A session. I know that's probably the quickest presentation we have seen in the pandemic. But again, that's why I level set earlier that we're keeping things at our 10,000 foot level for homecoming. So now with the Q&A, and I'm going to stop sharing. So with the Q&A, again, if you are on Zoom, please enter your questions in the Q&A chat or Q&A feature. If you are on Facebook Live, please enter your questions in the comment section. And we will pull questions from those two resources, as well as the questions that we received via the registration process. And again, thank you for those. So with that, I am going to start off with, well, first talk about FanFest. I'm going to give the floor to our City of Greensboro partner, Mr. Kendrick Mays, to give a little bit of information about Aggie FanFest this year. So, Mr. Mays, if you will, please, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kendrick Mays, Special Event Coordinator for the City of Greensboro. In the city, we are excited to partner with the university to put on Aggie Fan Fest that will take place at War Memorial Stadium. If you're unfamiliar with Aggie Fan Fest, that's food vendors, merchandise vendors, the kid zone, the sound stage. So we have not released the Fan Fest vendor applications yet. But what I'll do is I'll drop, our vendor inquiry form in the chat. So when those applications do become available, you'll already be on our list to receive that information. It'll also have my contact information. The time for Aggie Fan Fest, Friday, October 29th from 4 to 10, Saturday, October 30th from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, October 31st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, that's at War Memorial Stadium, which is the baseball stadium on Lindsay Street. And vendors are required to be on site all 3 days during posted times. If you're a merchandise vendor selling university apparel, you will need to have a license from Learfield. But in regards to pricing and what we accept and everything like that, that will be in our vendor application. So I will drop that link in the chat. So again, we're excited to host Aggie Fan Fest at War Memorial Stadium.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mays. All right, so next up, we'll talk about game tickets. So with our Campus Enterprises partners on the line, the questions, and I'm gonna fold two questions into one. The first one about how soon can alumni purchase tickets for the homecoming game? And when do tailgating tickets go on sale and how much? So I see Miss Corbin Bradford on the line. Corbin, could you answer that question for us? And you're on mute, Corbin.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Corbin Bradford, Ticket Office Manager. Right now, alumni groups can purchase their tickets beginning August 3rd. We are asking all alumni chapter presidents to call in with their order at one time so we can try our best to group your entire group together. The tickets are $56 for reserve tickets and $47 for general admission. That is it as far as game day tickets. In terms of homecoming tailgate is now on sale on Laurel Street, also known as the Orange Lot, and those spaces are $400 per space.
All right, great. Thank you, Corbin. Next up, we have a question about vendors. So I think this can be approached from both my office and Campus Enterprises. So I would throw it out to Donna and or Angela. The question is, when can licensed vendors sign up to vend at homecoming? And how can vendors sign up? So from Alumni Relations Office perspective, our vending activity is that vending expo at the Sheraton, as I noted on the list of events. So we are working on the application packet as well as the opening date of that application. So if you have reached out to our office or if you have vended with us in the past, you will receive the communication regarding when we will open up vending. And how you can apply for that. So Donna and or Angela, can you share with us some information about vending elsewhere on campus for homecoming?
Sure, Teresa, thank you for that. Donna Morris-Powell, Director for Retail Operations here in Campus Enterprises. And vending, game day vending will open on August 2nd. The website for vending application and vending packets will open on August 2nd for all games. So at that time, the vendors will have the opportunity to submit their applications.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. All right, the next question, this is for our Emergency Management Director and as well as our athletics representative, Carl Harrison. How will COVID-19 capacity limits be enforced for the homecoming game? So Travis or
Travis go first, but I can go.
Go ahead, Carl.
So currently, as Corbin mentioned earlier, we're only selling season tickets to the game. We'll start individual ticket sales in September, early September. So that gives us the opportunity to kind of take a look at our capacity and adjust, as Teresa mentioned earlier, to any updated state or local regulations based on capacity. So it's kind of a fluid situation right now, and we will adjust as those local regulations adjust.
I think you covered it all, Carl. Appreciate it.
So I will say the best way to guarantee a seat now is season tickets, which are on sale. So as Corbin mentioned, those are on sale online or at the ticket office.
Great. Thank you, Carl. So Travis, I'm going to direct this question to you, staying within the COVID-19 theme. It's a general question. So how will people be kept safe during homecoming?
So the biggest thing is we are looking at all of the trends with the COVID numbers, not only in the county, but across the state and across the country. And as we get closer to the greatest homecoming on earth, we will make all of the decisions on capacity limits, masks, social distancing, all of that as it relates to guidance from the local, state, and federal public health officials, the CDC, and the system office. And so with this being a very fluid situation, we are constantly in communication with all of those public health officials on what is going to be the best and safest way to conduct homecoming. And we will be continuously making those adjustments as they're necessary.
All right, thank you, Travis. Next question is, and I'm going to direct this to Ms. Rashonda Lowry, our Executive Director for Student Activities. Will alumni be allowed to attend the pep rally?
We are currently working through all of those logistics. Our hope is to allow alumni to, because I know it's important to our young alumni to be able to participate in this event. As we are able to work through the logistics, we will make sure that we make that aware early enough so that alumni can prepare.
Thank you, Rashonda. All right, next question is, will there be an alumni concert this year? And if so, who will be the entertainment and when will tickets be available? So yes, there will be an alumni concert this year. The artist will be named a little later. We are in the contract process right now with the artist. That information will be communicated at a later date once we solidify the artist. And then at the same time noting when tickets will be made available. Also, let me also note for the alumni concert, as I indicated earlier, with all of our indoor events, capacity will be limited for indoor events. And that does include the alumni concert that is held at the Corey Convention Center. We are limiting capacity for the concert this year. There were a couple of questions around reunion that I will address now as well. The specific questions were around, will there be any activities to celebrate the class of 1996? Will there be a way to schedule the luncheon for the Golden Aggie class of 71? We are planning a reunion celebration event for those classes that would have participated in alumni reunion weekend this year and last year. And those that would have been in reunion are those classes that end in 0s, 1s, 5s, and 6. The classes that end in 0, 1, 5, and 6, we are planning a reunion celebration during homecoming. We are also planning an event for our Society of Golden Aggies for the Golden Aggies from the classes of 1970 and 1971. Again, because we could not have our normal events around alumni reunion weekend for our milestone classes. We would definitely have a Society of Golden Aggies event of some type. And we will also celebrate our milestone silver anniversary classes as well. That would have been the classes of 1996 and 1995. So please stay tuned for that. The communications will go out to the appropriate individuals that will be impacted by those events. All right, let's see. Next question. Okay, I will, I think this will go between campus enterprises, athletics, and emergency management. The question is around, how will you handle student tickets / entrance into the homecoming game? Anyone from either of those teams could address that?
I'm here. So student ticketing will still be managed the same way we managed it in the past. Students will be required to download their tickets prior to the game, and we have a separate student gate, so they'll be required to enter through the student entrance. So, and we'll scan them in along with their IDs. So students will be required to download their tickets to their phones. They will have the ability to put it in their wallets. and have their IDs with them, and we'll scan them into the game.
All right. Thank you, Donna.
Okay, you're welcome.
Next question. Will the Office of Alumni Relations provide complimentary shuttle service from the Sheraton to campus? Yes, we will provide that shuttle service again this year on game day from the Sheraton to campus, as well as another site from downtown Greensboro. We need to identify that site, but yes, we will be providing complimentary shuttle service this year. All right, so let's see. Someone asked, what will be the host hotel? The host hotel is the Sheraton Greensboro at Four Seasons. We opened up reservations for the hotel back in January. And as of right now, it has been sold out. There may be ones or twosies, rooms here and there, like on Thursday and on Sunday, but Friday and Saturday is sold out. There is not a waiting list being maintained. So what we can recommend is that you continue trying the link to book a room, as folks will probably begin counseling within the next month or so. I can't guarantee that, but we just encourage you to continue trying using the link. But I just want to reiterate that there is not a waiting list being maintained for the Sheraton. On the Alumni Relations website, there is a list of hotel partners, and we encourage you to book reservations with those hotel partners as well. Let's see, alumni concert. Ms. Lowry, I'll pose this question to you, the next two questions. The first one is, will there be any special events for A&T royalty during homecoming?
We are planning for coronation, so that will be our largest event for A&T royalty. And we are still in the planning and thought process of if we will move forward with our legacy brunch that we have.
Thank you. The next question is, will fraternities and sororities be allowed to cook and gather at the plots?
So we are planning for it. You saw it on our list of planned activities. So we are working through those logistics now. And we are in constant consultation with Travis Alman and Dr. Webb to ensure that as we are thinking it through, we are being very thoughtful to put safety as a priority.
Great, thank you. The next question is, and this is an interesting question, but I think it probably definitely demonstrates the concerns of our Aggies coming back to campus. And I will direct this to members of campus enterprise, athletics, and emergency management. Will tailgating be a normal experience? And can we limit gates and fences that makes the crowd feel like cattle? I'm trying to interpret the question for clarity. So I guess it's the number of fences and gates that are in the tailgating area. But overall, will tailgating be a normal experience this year?
Carl?
Yeah, I guess I can take it. I'm assuming they're talking about the fences around the game zone area. Obviously, that will still be there to kind of keep the game zone area safe, so that, you know, when people come in, they're either tailgating in that area or going to the game zone. I think the first part was really just kind of asking if it's any different. I know we've looked at different options, so not necessarily spacing out the tailgate spaces, but just ensuring that if people want to be a little bit more distance away from each other, they're able to. But in terms of a big difference in the way everything is spaced out, no, there will not be that. So there's still the same number of spaces available that we've had in the past. And I know we've mentioned Laurel Street a lot, but there still will be tailgating inside the blue and gold lots, which are the ones inside the game. So in front of the stadium and behind the scoreboard, both of those will still be available.
Okay, thank you. And Carl, while we have you up, a couple of questions about the game. Will there be social distance seating in place at the game? And then there was another question about whether the game will be at 100% capacity.
So we're still working through the social distancing in terms of individual seats or purchasing group. If you all remember, as we were planning for what would have been the 2020 season, we were selling tickets in groups, I think 2 or 4. So not specifically doing that this year, but as I mentioned earlier, as Travis mentioned as well, we will continue to kind of monitor where we are on a local kind of regulation standpoint and space out if needed as we move forward. And that'll just kind of be based on where we are. So that capacity, we can't truly answer if we'll be at 100%, but we'll continue to monitor and adjust as needed as we get closer to the game.
Okay, thank you. For our campus enterprises team, I think I can answer this question, but I just want to pose it out there. Someone was interested in knowing how to get in contact with the ticket office to purchase tailgating spots and tickets. So I will offer that as part of our FAQs. We will provide the ticket office's phone number, as well as a link to purchase tickets. Corbin, excuse me, can you confirm or correct that?
Yeah, so tickets can be purchased either online or by coming into the ticket office. The website is uncataggies.com.
Okay, thank you. Robert McNair, I will direct this question to you. Will there be a homecoming parade, and how much will it be to register to participate in it? You're on mute, Robert.
My apologies. Yes, there will be a homecoming parade this year. We are still working through the logistics and the intricacies within that. More information will be sent out, but there will be a homecoming parade, as it will be modified. But like I said before, until everything gets situated, we will send that information out when it's due.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Next up, Travis, I'm going to address this question to you. The question is, will we be allowed to congregate on the yard?
So that will be part of, I assume, tailgating in the Greek plots area and other parts of campus. We will encourage people to use all safety precautions that are put in place at the time of homecoming, but we will allow as much as we can to have a normal feel of homecoming, but also keeping everybody as safe as possible.
Along those same lines, Travis, I'll direct this question to you as well. Will proof of vaccinations be required to attend events?
So right now, we cannot require proof of vaccination or require people to be vaccinated to attend events. So providing any proof of vaccination will not be required. While we do encourage everybody to get vaccinated, we cannot require it at this time.
And one quick last question, will masks be required on the yard as well as at the game?
So like we mentioned before, all of the mask guidelines will be communicated as we get closer to the event, and will all be based on state and local guidelines along with the university guidelines that are in place. So right now I can't answer whether or not they will be because it is very fluid and things are subject to change.
All right, thank you. All right, let's see. I'm flowing through the questions, and it seems like that there's a common theme to questions that where they have already been addressed. Let me go into the Q&A queue. Crystal Boyce, if you don't mind me reaching out to you, is there anything in the Q&A queue as I'm scrolling through?
Yes, there are quite a few questions.
Okay. Sorry, one of them, just scan through real quick to make sure I pose the questions appropriately.
Teresa, there is a question that is out there. It says, why are AAF donors not allowed to purchase tailgating tickets on Laurel Street?
Okay, thank you for that.
No problem.
Tailgate on Laurel Street is available for purchase for anyone.
All right, thank you. There's a question here that I will pose to Rashonda Lowry. Will recent graduates be able to attend the concert and step show?
Those events will happen as normal. So the same way that they were able to purchase tickets before, they will still be able to purchase tickets for the events.
Thank you. So I think you just answered this question, Rashonda, but I want I guess just to provide additional clarity here, just to make sure. This person is asking, can you clarify if events like the concert and step show that has been historically open to the public are now student-only events?
We are not changing events currently. We are not changing events to student only. We are still going to have events that are open to the general public. We will be monitoring and keeping up with the trends and making adjustments as we need to, but the hope is that things that are open to the public will remain open to the public.
Thank you. And here's a general question, for all of us, will there be actual hard printed tickets or will all tickets be electronic? From the alumni concert perspective, we're still working through that. And we will make that announcement once we're finalized how we're gonna better manage that. So stay tuned from the alumni concert perspective.
From the student side, we are pretty much like on Teresa's end. We are working through the logistics of it. We're looking at how to have online and in-person options for those events that are being hosted at the Greensboro Coliseum. And for the events that are being hosted on campus, we are looking to go the virtual route and have online tickets only for those events.
Thank you. This person is asking, will there be tailgating behind, will there be tailgating behind the field house? I know we've been focused on the Laurel Street tailgating, but this individual wants to know, will there be tailgating behind the field house?
Yes, that lot will be open for regular tailgating as well as RVs are back there in the blue lot. I did want to add, there was a question about the tickets beforehand, whether they're digital or physical. Our season ticket cards are physical cards. Individual tickets have the option of being printed at home or a digital option on your phone as well. So you'll be able to do either one of those for an individual game purchase.
All right, thank
Carl,
you.
If I could interject, this is Corbin from the ticket office. To tailgate behind the field house, which is what we call the blue lot.
You have to purchase 2 season books to be eligible to purchase one of those tailgating spaces, and those spaces are not for purchase for individual games such as homecoming. Those are only sold as a seasonal tailgate pass. Laurel Street would be the only individual space sold for homecoming.
All right, thank you. There's a question about how far in advance will we know about changes in plans? Will there be a town hall such as this on a regular basis? We are as of right now, we are not planning any more town halls, but we will definitely be using e-blast, updates to the website, updates on social media regarding any changes or modifications to homecoming. We are getting a good response to this event, so we will give it some serious consideration about holding another town hall if there are major changes to homecoming. I would say that if there are some significant and major changes to homecoming, we may hold another town hall. Rashonda, this individual just wants to double confirm or triple confirm that there is not a comedy show this year.
We are not hosting a comedy show this year.
Thank you. Travis, could you provide us with what are the current restrictions for crowd size for universities in the UNCC system?
So right now, the capacity limits for the UNC system across the board have been left to each individual institution to make those decisions for themselves. The state has done away with all of the different capacity limits. And so that decision is left up to each individual chancellor. And right now, the university does have capacity limits for indoors. We do not currently have capacity limits for outdoors, but that of course is subject to change based off of the COVID trends that may or may not happen in the fall. And that'll be something that'll be evaluated as we get closer to homecoming.
Thank you. Another question, what are the details for getting a vendor spot at the Sheraton? We will, if you have not vended, well, first of all, we have a list of vendors that have participated in the event in the past, as well as for individuals who have called our office expressing interest in participating. So once we are prepared to send that notice out to apply for vending space at the Sheraton, or what the vending expo will look like overall, we will communicate to those individuals that we have information for. If you are interested in participating as a vendor at the Sheraton, you can contact our office, and that information will be provided later on. And also, as part of the FAQs, we will also provide information in terms of how you can vend on campus otherwise. We will provide that information as well. Let's see, Carl, I'll give this question to you. Where is the opposing school from, and are they in our new conference for the homecoming game?
Yes, Monmouth is in New York, New Jersey area, and they are in our new conference, the Big South. They're actually they won the conference last year, so we'll definitely need all support we can get in that game because we're playing a very, very good team. And can I address something really quick? I happened to see a question in Q&A.
Yes, absolutely.
Someone asked about just ensuring that season tickets weren't the only way to get a ticket. The point I was making earlier is right now, if you want to make sure you get a ticket, season tickets are the only thing on sale now. Individual game tickets, including homecoming, will go on sale in September. So you're able to wait until September to purchase an individual ticket, but if you would like to purchase a season ticket, you can do that now, and obviously that includes homecoming in it.
Thank you. The next question is, do we anticipate a cap on tailgating crowds? So I'll open that up to campus enterprises, athletics, or and/or emergency management.
So tailgate spaces are on sale and all tailgate spaces will be sold. So we'll continue selling until we're sold out. We do not have the ability to manage that crowd. We just sell to the number of spaces that we currently have in our inventory. Angela, did you want to add on to that?
Just to echo what Donna has said, we'll be selling at our normal capacity, but we will be taking precaution measures to make sure that the environment for tailgating is as safe as possible, with additional measures in place for our tailgaters, such as with additional hand sanitizing stations, and making sure that everyone is taking just precaution of being outdoors and enjoying your tailgating experience.
Thank you. And speaking of tailgating, I'm running across a couple of questions around tailgating, asking about the directions and rules and how the process differs this year. Just to step back in my opening comments that we're not intending to go into a lot of details for this meeting, but we will continue to communicate and via various channels as we get deeper or further along in our planning process. But Angela and Donna, is there anything at a high level in terms of if anything is significantly different this year regarding tailgating policies and procedures?
No, there's nothing different that's significantly different than in past years. Again, as Angela stated earlier, we're going to take the necessary precautions to ensure that we have hand sanitizing stations, again, keeping in mind to keep our fans safe during this time.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do students get free tickets to the game?
Yes, students, the tickets for the game, home games are included for students. So students, again, when they download their ticket, it's a free ticket. They're entitled to one ticket per game.
Okay. Mr. Kendrick Mays, and let's see, a lot of these questions were posted early on in our session. But for those folks who may have joined after the point where we talked about it, I'll pose this question or some of these questions as I have been doing. So, Mr. Mays, what are the dates for Aggie Fan Fest?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So the dates for Aggie Fan Fest, they are Friday, October 29th, Saturday, October 30th, Friday, October 29th from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., Saturday, October 30th from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, October 31st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And more information will come out. I was unable to drop the link in the chat, but I believe that it will go out this evening in a wrap-up email. But I also posted on the Facebook page. So those are the dates and times for Aggie Fan Fest at War Memorial Stadium.
Thank you. So this question, I guess, is for athletics. Carl, what is the plan for the alumni band and alumni cheerleaders being on the track?
That's something we're still going to work through. Obviously, limiting the number of people that are on the track and in contact with cheer and band and the team will be a priority. So I'm not 100% sure what that will look like as of now. It's something we'll kind of monitor and work with those individual alumni groups, the band and the cheer groups, to determine as we get closer. And I know the alumni band is usually involved with the parade. I'm not 100% sure what that will look like this year. I can't answer that part.
Okay. Thank you. There's a question here. Will non-alumni attendees be able to secure game day tickets? And I'm going to say yes. Game day tickets is open to the public. So if someone can correct Corbin, please correct or confirm.
We
That is
welcome everybody.
Okay,
That is correct. Tickets are open and available for everyone.
okay, thank you. Will game tickets still be the only way to access the tailgate behind the stadium? Or is that tailgate area closed this year?
Yes, so to access any tailgate inside of the game zone, whether that's gold or blue light, you will need a game ticket. And I'll just answer some questions that I saw as well. Game tickets for the general public, individual game tickets will be available for the general public beginning September 7th. Again, those tickets are 56 for reserved and 47 for the general public. Well, not general public, general admission, excuse me.
Thank you. Let's see. We answered that question. When will parade applications be available? And Robert, I think you indicated earlier that that is still in the works in terms of when that's going to open. Is that correct, Robert, if you're still with us?
I'm sorry, say it again.
The question was, when will parade applications be available? And I was saying that that will be made available, that date will be made available at a later time.
Yes, it will be made available at a later time. Due to the tardiness of getting everything together and planning, once we got everything solidified, we will send that out as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you. For our campus enterprises team, there is a question about the pricing of tailgate spaces in terms of the increase between 2019 and 2021. Is that something that you can address at this time in terms of the price increase?
Teresa, this is,
Go ahead, Angela.
okay. What I would say that the price increase does cover the necessary operational needs in maintaining the safety and well-being of our fans during their tailgating experience, as well as to help support our athletic program.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Rashonda, I will direct this question to you. Will there be restrictions for tailgating at the plots on campus on Saturday?
We are still working through that. We are going to stay in consultation with our EHS and our Student Health Center, Dr. Webb, as we continue to make safe decisions. So just make sure that you're following the Office of Student Activities on social media. I'm sure we will be putting up the homecoming website soon where we will be able to post our updates. So just be on the lookout for those things, and we will try our best to keep you as abreast as we are making the decisions.
Thank you. All right, we have 4 minutes left. Let me get a couple of more questions in here. Will individual colleges and schools have their alumni welcome cookouts on Friday? That is still to be determined. And so we will communicate that as each of the respective colleges make their plans either to not have one or to have one. So that will come out in general communications as well as in the college's individual communications to their alumni. Will there be volunteering opportunities this year? We certainly hope so. Our volunteers, at least from the Office of Alumni Relations, our volunteers are an extension of our office. And we certainly appreciate the sharing of their time and talent. But as we continue in our planning process, we will definitely communicate that if we will be having volunteers to help us this year. Let's see. For our panelists, as I'm scrolling through, if you see anything that jumps out at you in the Q&A queue, please don't hesitate to step in our last couple of minutes here as I'm still continuing to scroll through. let's see. So Travis, I'll ask, pose this question to you. With the concern about the new Delta variant, will there be a vaccination section at the stadium? And will alumni and students have to show vaccination cards or negative cards?
So right now there has not been any plans to have a vaccinated section. Carl may have some more information on that, but there is also not going to be any need to show proof of vaccination since we cannot require vaccination.
There's a question here. Will updates be provided in time to cancel hotel reservations to ensure we are not at risk of being locked in or unable to attend? So yes, that is definitely a priority of ours as part of the communications plan. If anything significant changes, any significant changes with homecoming this year, we will be sure to, especially if there's a decision made that we will go virtual again this year, that will definitely be announced prior to the deadlines for canceling reservations. But I will also put an asterisk on that. With us in this fluid environment, we will do our best to make that decision in a timely fashion based on the data that's available at that particular point in time. Okay, so we have less than a minute yet left, so I'm going to cut it off at this point. As I indicated earlier, we will take all of the questions that have been posed this evening and in advance, and we will make sure we put those in an FAQ and have those posted on our website and in other channels. Again, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Again, we feel the excitement and we feel the, if you want to call it anxiety about the 2021 edition of the greatest homecoming on earth. But again, we at the university, as you have heard throughout this evening, are committed to ensuring the safety of our visitors, of our Aggies, of our alumni, of our friends and fans and supporters of North Carolina A&T State University. Safety is a priority and will always be a priority here at the university. But we are doing the best to plan an exciting time. We are ready to get out and see each other once again. I'm not going to say hug because we're in a different place right now, but just to see each other and being and fellowshipping with one another once again. So again, continue to be on the lookout for communications from the university as updates are made as we solidify plans for the various events that we are holding this year. So with that, thank you all again this evening. We hope you have a wonderful evening. Continue to have a safe and healthy summer and rest of the year. Take care of yourselves. And then we will depart with a hearty Aggie pride. Good night, everyone.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.